Awesome. Well, welcome everyone to the Kubeflow Pipelines community meeting. Today's date is July 2nd, 2025. This meeting is governed by the CNCF Code of Conduct. The meeting is recorded and will be uploaded to the Kubeflow YouTube account after the call has ended. So as per usual, we always start off with introductions. So if you are new to the community call and would like to introduce yourself, please feel free. All right, cool. So I have a couple of agenda items here. I see somebody is adding some pull requests. We can do those first before I kind of blabber on. So let me just move those to the front. And then I can do my announcements and what have you. So who was it? Christian, I think it was you. Are you the ones adding these pull requests? Would you like to talk about it?
I was adding the bug, and with it comes the question whether that is the right forum to talk about it. So somebody else was adding the pull request.
I see. Which bug? Oh, I see the issue over here. Okay, cool. We can talk about the issue first.
Yeah, so maybe just quickly why I'm mentioning it is so the issue that we're facing is that the logs of the pipelines are not working with a live display. Only post-run they're available in the min.io instance, and so far I'm not sure where to debug next, and that is where I'm looking for input. If this is not the right platform, just let me know and we can figure this out offline.
No, I think it's perfectly fine to bring a light to it. We probably can't get too technical into it, but we can take a quick look. So this is in the fails to show logs from central dashboard. Are you deploying standalone Kubeflow? Kubeflow, it's a full Kubeflow installation.
Yes.
Okay. And is this in the Kubeflow UI?
So there is a screenshot attached, I think a little bit further down, how the issue looks in the end. So when this is just one of the default runs that are coming with pipelines, and whenever I want to check out the logs, there's a general error message.
And is this right
logs.
after the run has been started and executed, or is this like sometime after they
Both.
disappear?
So this, I think, was your question. So the latest comment down there, it's whenever during the run, also after. So at no point in time this works.
I have not encountered this issue in I can follow up on 2.4.1. Have you tried it on the latest release
Yes.
of Kubeflow? And it's still the same issue?
Yes.
Okay. Was anybody able to?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say that's a little strange because I know that the logs previous to 2.5 we had that one of the main contributions that I know Alex worked on was implementing logs as artifacts, and that way they would persist in the UI, given that they're still existing inside of whatever storage backend you have. Yeah, I'm curious if the full installation of what's on master through the manifest is if you see that with if you still see this with that, because yeah, that was a feature gap that we needed to address in order to use it. And I know at Capital One we're using it now, and we still we're running 2.5 and we're able to capture the logs after the fact still. So
yeah, after the fact is not an issue. So no, after the fact they are available in min.io as artifacts with the 2.5 version, and they're already available as an artifact right now because the pipeline, the actual pipelines, not the demo one, do register the logs as an artifact and put them into min.io, but I can't get the live thing to work.
Do you know what version of Argo you're using?
No, I don't. But it's manifest 1.10 and one of manifest 1.10.1, which we're testing with.
I'm wondering if this has to do with I'm not sure. I do check what version of Argo you're using. It should be 3.5. If
So
it's
well, one thing that might be an issue here is that we're running the whole thing in AKS, so like Azure. And I'm not sure if that like makes anything different compared to the GKE deployments, which most people seem to be running.
No, at least on our side, we typically run either bare Kubernetes or on OpenShift. So and our CI runs on Kind, although I don't think we're testing like log displays there either. But I frequently deploy latest Kubeflow pipelines UI in standalone, and I do see the logs working there. I think we probably need to be able to reproduce. So I guess my suggestion is maybe possibly more information, and I can put this on my radar to also try to reproduce the issue. Do you know if this is a issue that you have encountered in a standalone deployment, or has it been largely a full Kubeflow?
So far, like the only instance that we have is this full Kubeflow instance. And also, I'm really happy to provide more information. I'm not sure what to provide next.
Yeah, so you mentioned that you're running this in Azure. I think that's useful information. Argo versions would also be useful to know. So I can note some of that down here. More information on the environment, platform, Argo deployment version. And I can tag myself here. I have not looked at this issue yet, so I'll also take a look and try to
Awesome.
follow up. Yeah, thank you for bringing this up. I have a general note on bugs later in the call that I'll also talk about. So really appreciate this, Christian. Okay, pull requests. So we have one here that was linked, but there's no name. Oh, is this is the one I added? Is Anton in the call? Okay. This is a pull request that is dear and near to or a proposal that is dear and near to my heart. It is by Anton. I will let him, hopefully he's able to join one of the calls to talk more about it. But the proposal is up and it is about reducing the number of pods that do occur for a given pipeline run. So everybody is aware of the driver pods that show up, and it's a lot of overhead from a infrastructure standpoint to have so many pods that are not directly running the user code. So it is a proposal on using Argo executor plugins. Please take a look. I've tried this myself in my own fork and ran it to success. So I'm excited to see this over here and get community inputs. Any comments about that? I think they posted it this morning, so it's fairly new. Gage, you have the next pull request topic?
Yeah, not really a question, more of just sort of like an FYI. I got a React 16 to 17 upgrade. Things are in work in progress because I need to fix the tests. It's still using enzymes, so it shouldn't be bad, but there's an FYI that I had to upgrade a couple the charting libraries because they weren't going to be supported in 18, and I don't think they were really supported well in 17. So I don't know if it's a big deal that those change. And then Material UI is upgraded to V5. So there's a decent amount of things that changed there, but stylistically things should be okay. But yeah, I don't know if there's a huge concern on things shifting slightly in both these regards. I haven't really looked at the tests, so I don't know why they're failing, but it might just be the fact that I'm missing a dependency.
If we can get tests passing on this, like I would love to get this in for the next release, Gage. I don't know what your bandwidth is like, but if not, this we can always do it for the one that follows, or even as a patch release. You said if people don't mind things slightly shifting, can you elaborate? Like visually, like UI, things are shifting around,
Yeah,
or
so visually, definitely the charting. So like your ROC curve, your
I see.
that kind of thing. I think it's just ROC curve and then gosh, I don't think the confusion matrix changed. I think something else changed, but regardless, it's just two visualizations. It should be pretty much the same, just the same
Okay.
functionality. But and then material UI, some things changed. I'm trying to make it look pretty much the same, but like some padding and button overrides didn't really transfer properly. So looking at that still, but I don't know if that's something that we can iteratively do or that needs to be.
No, I think if it's like, I mean, you can provide the like images here to see like if you have before and afters, but or you can just make
Yeah.
a note of it. I think it's, yeah, if it largely looks for the most part the same, it doesn't have to be exactly the same. We need React upgraded like yesterday, so this is a very critical upgrade. Yeah, thanks for bringing this up. If folks have bandwidth to take a look at this, please do. I would love to get this in for the next release.
I'll get it out of work in progress and get
Yeah.
the test passing. That shouldn't be terrible.
Do we have an issue for the React upgrade?
We do. I did I not link it? Yeah, I linked it in the commit. Or not the commit, the title. It's not
Yeah.
really
No, it's
that
fine. I
issue.
just wanted to add the issue to the project tracker. So you can, if you can put it at the top, I'll just add it for the milestone for this release, and just so it continues to be on our radar. And
Okay.
yeah, I'll try to get it attention. Thank you, Gage. Any other comments, questions for Gage? Cool. All right, milestone 2.6. Please keep checking back into it. If you see an issue that is not assigned, DM me or ping me in the Kubeflow Pipelines channel, and we can get that assigned to you and provide you with further context. Some things I want to highlight for this release that we will be prioritizing in the coming weeks: Argo upgrade. These are very tech debt items that are kind of been left in the backlog. So Argo upgrade to 3.6. Protobuf 5 and 6 support. This one is one of the most liked bugs in the community, so we really want to push this one forward. There's a lot of like improvements to documentation that you'll see that oh, Michael, are you here? I don't think we have an issue for this, but there's some like you guys added support for DSL collected, and I think the documentation still says that we don't support it. So if
Yeah,
you are
we're gonna have to do update the docs for collected. And I noticed also one of is, I think it says it's not supported, but the one of piece was added in with the subdag
nice.
IO. So we could remove those two blocks in the docs.
I think Parallel 4 is also mentioned as not supported. If you are willing, I know that one was by Julio, and but
Oh,
if-
the parallelism, yeah.
yeah. So it's just removing those like entries. Are you guys already planning to do that, or
Yeah, I could I'll throw it up. I just forget where the
Yeah.
docs live for which piece. So
I can quickly show you. So hold on. Where is did I stop sharing?
you're still sharing.
All right, cool. Sorry, I'm traveling right now, so I'm on my laptop and this tiny screen with a touchpad. I'm not used to it. All right. Hold on. So it's on the website repository. And you're just following content, docs, components, and everything's under pipelines over here. So you'll find all the pages that you see within the website docs. It's all located under here. So, and it'll
Okay.
immediately make sense to you once you compare this to like the website, where how everything is laid out.
Okay. Makes sense. Thanks.
I'll link that here in the docs. Really, really appreciate it. Okay. Yeah, so milestones. I have taken I'll also move quickly talk about the good first issue stuff. I mentioned this in the Slack, but if you're interested in helping out, some of these are in the milestone and some of them not. I did go over them. I think they're still very much relevant and they are good starters. And some of them you'll find like pointers, and others, if you don't know where to get started and you would like to pick them up, reach out to me. I would be happy to give you pointers and like how to get started, how to get your development setup started, and like just enable you to be able to help contribute to the community. So please reach out. All right. This one also, Michael, you reached out, right? So we want to release, was it for SDK or?
Yeah, SDK.
Okay. Is it just the SDK?
Yeah.
Okay. So okay, I'm back next week, so I'll do that. What else? Oh yeah, bug responses. I was going through the open SSF badges, and one of the requirements that we need to check off is we have to be on point with responding to bugs in the community. So they say around you should be responding to bugs around within like 2 months, or is it 2 to 5 months? I can't remember, but frankly, it should be faster than that. Right. So I put up a link here where you can sort by the bug label and just sort by newest. And if you're seeing, there are already some here that I see, well, this one was created by me, but they need to just be acknowledged. Like we don't have to commit to anything, but we should like do our due diligence and respond to bugs. And if we have an answer for them or workarounds, try to provide them. And we should triage them if they're identify them if they're very critical, if they're release blocking, and so on and so forth. We should elevate them. So can definitely use folks' help here. I'm trying to go down the list, but if you see some and you can respond to them, that's also very appreciated. All right. Kubeflow SDK discussion.
Hey folks, it's Francisco. How's everybody doing? So I wanted to bring it up here. We talked with the trainer community, and as we started to work on the SDK, what we've wanted to bring to align with the pipelines community is actually we talked about consolidation and the SDK document, and what we're proposing is adding the Kubeflow SDK into Kubeflow pipelines and then doing the migration that way to the Kubeflow SDK. And obviously I wanted to bring it to the community here. And so what that would mean is that we would, be adding a lightweight SDK. It's a pretty lightweight Python package today into KFP. And that's going to help ultimately with the better experience for distributed training, Katib and registry. And then the Spark operator as well. And then it'll force us to actually make sure that the transition for KFP is smooth. It's also where we have the biggest amount of users, and so we thought that also made the most sense.
Was this in the Kubeflow SDK discussion, or is this a separate new addition to the proposal?
It's a new addition to the proposal. Okay. We discussed it with Andre and myself a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Are we talking, is this code additions to KFP repository, or is this
it's in the requirements file, basically, is what it would be.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it would be good to know like if there's a document that we can take a look at. This sounds like a lot less of a resistant change than which was the initial proposal, which was to remove.
Yeah, and that was the biggest part, right? Where like a lot of the SDK right now is going to be pretty lightweight, and that's very true for the trainer. We're adding we're making the local experience a first-class citizen, and we want to make that seamless across training and pipelines. And the bulk of the client code really is in the SDK, at least, or the Python client is in KFP, right? Where that's really not the case for a lot of the other projects.
Yeah, that's right. There's also a lot of heavily coupling between backend and like the SDK. So um yeah, is if there's if there's a document, I
There
think we
isn't a
can.
document about this yet. I
Okay.
wanted to bring it to this community here to actually discuss it before we go and like go and try to say like, well, this is what we're doing, right? I think what we'll start with is like, hey, we started with the flipped saying like, hey, we could get KFP to migrate the other way, but actually, this will force us to support KFP earlier and to like handle any inconsistencies in package management earlier, so that the transition again for KFP is actually smooth.
So what is the use case of having it be part of the KFP SDK? Is it that like via the KFP SDK, I can have uh integration integration support that like calls I can make that will help better integrate with like Trainer, for example, in my
Exactly.
KFP pipelines?
Trainer and Katib, right? Fine tuning and
Yeah.
optimizing. That's like the two core ones. The Spark operators is another, of course. And there's a lot of upstream work. I've used to, Hailbear's work, but there's other members in the community work on the Spark operator using pipelines to orchestrate their actual Spark pipeline, their Spark job.
Okay. And the right now the Kubeflow SDK is wrapping Trainer client code on SDKs,
It
or
is the
how?
trainer client now,
I see. Okay.
which is a pretty lightweight client, actually.
So I guess so if I'm a user of the KFP SDK, I'm authoring my KFP pipelines, right? Um, is the I could right now install in my pipe because Python, like people import Python packages within their pipelines and use Python packages that way. What is the benefit of having it be part of the KFP SDK here? Is it that so that they don't have to do that and they can just?
Yeah, that's right. And to have like a really cohesive product story for Kubeflow,
Mhm.
right? Like I think that one of the gaps that we've had, and you look no further than Reddit forums about Kubeflow, and there's been a lot of pain points. And I think like, what we want to do is enable the local experience to remote, primarily like distributed training is really where the Kubeflow training operators or the Kubeflow trainer is really, really impactful. But that transition is very, very bad. And so we want to actually force that product experience to be a lot better. And so this is a mechanism to kind of help do that. You're right. We could just tell people like pip install it within it, but I think that's the wrong story. There's also work on the UI side where we intend on enhancing the UI within the Kubeflow SDK, and we can start from existing the KFP. I actually put up a PR last week or a couple weeks ago compiling the KFP UI locally. We intend on having a UI for the Kubeflow SDK, and actually we could start from the pipelines and enrich it that way versus the other way. Does that make sense? Oh, you're on mute.
No, that makes sense. I think like I guess having a concept of like how a user would use I I guess what's clear to me now right now is KFP now wrapping some Kubeflow SDK calls whereas before it was the other way around.
I think it would be you would use the native Kubeflow pipelines.
Mm-hmm.
Over time, that would move into like the SDK itself, right? The Kubeflow SDK.
Yeah.
And it'd be like from Kubeflow import pipelines. And like, but in the short term, it'd be from KFP import, the regular stuff. And then I think like that stays the same. When you pip install KFP, you could then also say import trainer, right?
Right. Yeah. Okay.
And so like that, actually most of it and what's outlined in that doc stays the same. And really this is probably adjusting the sequencing of things where we'll probably be more ambitious with trying to help get the pipelines in order sooner.
Yeah. That makes sense. I think having I guess like a proposal would be nice to see, like at least example of what the use cases would be. Like how would it look like in the SDK, what the calls would look like would be nice. Is that something that like we're planning to do?
Yeah, I mean, there are examples in the Kubeflow SDK document, right, where we actually talked about pipelines. And so again, like most of those components all stay the same. The difference is by adding the SDK into pipelines, we just force us to actually figure out how to migrate pipelines sooner is basically the real conclusion. It'll probably end up having us to resolve like protobuf incompatibility issues, and I think that's a good thing, and requirements and Python version issues that we'll have across SDKs. And so like again, because pipelines is one of our bigger projects, Feast is also in that same vein, and Spark obviously, like we want to be thoughtful about starting to tackle that stuff sooner, and then like force us to actually figure out those things to ultimately give our users a really great product experience.
Okay, so I think that if the ask is to include Kubeflow as part of KFB, I think starting with a use case would be good. So that we can say, okay, well, this is the use case we're striving for. For this, we need Kubeflow SDK to be part of the KFB package, right? Or be able to at least pull that in, is from what I'm understanding. If we can identify like the first use case for that, and then we can add it to like Project Tracker and discuss it further, try to move that along.
Cool.
Does that make sense? So I think that can be the next step here. Identify a first use case for yeah. Any comments, questions, concerns for Francisco? Okay, how can we move this forward, Francisco? Is this something that you are in discussions with, or do we need to identify somebody to help lead this?
I don't know my first use case for Kubeflow SDK would then, I mean, it's gonna be training. Like
Training.
absolutely gonna be training. And like, you know, you can look at the Instruct Lab flow or Hellbear's demo that he did. Oh, actually, I think he used sklearn maybe for that. I forget. But if you look at what iLab did, and even if you look at what Instruct Lab did, just take a look at the training component, and look no further than that, and see how terrible of an experience that is for someone trying to use it. And so, like, and I'll link to the repo just to make it very concrete, because it's my favorite example to point to of like it begets the question of why would I use these two things together when they don't even behave like they're actually connected.
That would be great. I think like that would give us a very clear idea of what problem we're trying to solve. If we can link that here, I'll let's see.
Yeah,
we can convert that into a GitHub issue.
Yeah,
nice. And then I can add that as part of like a roadmap item.
Here, I'll make the GitHub issue.
Okay.
Feature request.
Awesome. Any other questions for Francisco? Comments? All right. Next topic, Christian.
Yeah, so I like spontaneously added this because I saw it on top with the undetermined dates. That apparently at the end of the year, like a little bit further up above this meeting, the Kubeflow SDK v1 will be sunset. Yeah, so it's part of the undetermined date nodes. And I wondered because I think there are a few features that are so far lacking with the Kubeflow SDK v2. And for the teams that are working with the SDK on our side, the issue mostly is the support for tolerations and affinities. I've been trying at least to follow the issues and pull requests with that regard, but my understanding so far is that the support for them is not yet feature complete as compared to the v1 SDK. So far they still stay on SDK v1. And yeah, I wanted to ask what the status on that is, or yeah, if there is anything, I don't know, maybe we could do.
Yeah, okay, so I can talk a little bit about this. So the tolerations should, if there's something still missing in tolerations, let us know. But today, with tolerations in the latest KFB release, you should be able to parameterize your tolerations. You should have a lot of flexibility there, whether it's via hard coding or inputs. You should be able to use them. For affinities, that doesn't exist today. You can hard code affinities, you can't parameterize them. If there's something, but we do have this, I think this is part of our upcoming milestone. Let me double check. Where's the link for 2.6? And we do have somebody internally in our team also that's going to be working on this. I am more than happy to make this a requirement for having parity here. Let's see, do I not have it? Yeah, it's in the milestone. So this is the issue, right, Christian? Hold on, let me link it.
Yes, I think so.
So I'll link it here as well. Okay, so what is missing beyond? So is it just the parameterization? I've tried to also leave some comments here on what is currently missing. If it's just adding parameterization for affinities, this is something that we are working on, and we're gonna have this before we drop support for v1 APIs.
So I think for our use case, even hard coding the affinities is something that is suitable, most likely. So if that is something we can do today, I guess I will need to get in contact with the team that works on the application side of things.
Yeah, and if you should be able to do it. If they're not, just tag me in the Slack channel. I'll be happy to help you take a look. I am pretty sure affinities are supported. It's just folks want to be able to also parameterize it, and yeah, so you have the ability to set pod affinities. You just have to use the Kubernetes platform SDK package to be able to do that. So you can set node affinities, pod affinities. This should be supported. And what we are adding for this milestone is just the support for parameterization.
Okay, that sounds good. I learned something new, even though I should have learned it from your comment previously, I guess. But then we will try to figure this out, and if things don't work, then I'll get back to you with a bug report.
Yeah, you don't have to wait until the next meeting. You can just also tag me in pipelines if you're looking for a faster response.
Thanks for that.
All right, that's the last item. Anybody have anything else they would like to bring up? All right, well, happy long weekend for those that have a long weekend. Otherwise, see you all next time. Thanks for joining. Take care.